Around the corner or around the world with the Greenup beacon.
Welcome to Sit Down with the Superintendent, presented by GCHS TV. Join us as we welcome Greenup County Superintendent Welcome to Sit Down with the Superintendent, presented by GCHS TV. Join us as we welcome Greenup County Superintendent Tracy Moracey to our roundtable discussion hosted by GCHS students. And welcome into our final edition of Sit Down with the Superintendent. I'm your host, James Collier, joined with Tracy Moracey. And the scene's a little different this last episode.
It is.
It's a truly sit-down show now.
It depicts what our year has turned into.
Yeah, it's you see the setting behind us. This is what we're putting forward right now for graduation. We're 2 nights in. Things have gone very well.
Yes.
We can't say thank you enough to all of our students, families, everybody that's been a part of it, all of the people behind the scenes that has helped get our students and our families in here and be able to celebrate this very memorable occasion.
Yes.
I can't get words out today.
We're tired.
Yes.
We're not going to lie, we're tired. We've been here every night. I cannot say thank you enough even just to the staff who have went above and beyond, putting things together, organizing. To the degree of, you can't see it here, but there are arrows and lines and markings all over this room where people can stand so that we're doing the social distancing like we need, but we can still get a few families in at a time instead of having people waiting outside. We can actually get a line and a procession going, and kids are getting to see each other graduate a little bit, which is a little bit more than I think what people were understanding. We've had quite a few people come up to us afterwards and say, hey, I didn't realize this is what it was going to be like, and this isn't bad.
Yeah, it was kind of something we didn't know what to expect either when we put this together, and we really took our time, and kudos to Jason Smith for all of the stuff that he really sat down and had the kind of the nuts and bolts behind this, and then we ironed out a few things, and so far this thing it's gone very, very well.
Yes, and Melissa Bowling has done a phenomenal job coordinating with Miss LeMaster, and I know Scarlett Shoemaker's been over here quite a bit doing the spacing and the arrows and all of that, so it's just kind of been a team effort. And James, thank you very much. I know you have to be exhausted, and I would love to tell you your work is done, but
I still have a little bit to go.
You have a little more to do, so
I will say this, I'm through most of day 2 on the editing. All of the opening ceremonies is finished and stuff, and I'm really excited for the product for everyone to get to see next Friday night. This will air live next Friday night. It will start at 7 p.m. It'll be on YouTube. We'll post the stream links, several different avenues across social media. And the nice part of it is that if you can't watch it live at 7 o'clock, you can always go back and watch it anytime that you wish. And feel free to share that link out with your friends and family as well.
And they can download and save.
Yes.
You can download and save. Another option you might want to check out, this Saturday on prime time, they are doing an honor to 2020 graduates.
Okay.
And Greenup County actually submitted pictures to this, and I got a sneak preview, and I think we made the cut.
Cool.
So Saturday night it's going to be on CBS, Fox, ABC, all the big stations are doing a tribute to high school graduates. And if I'm not mistaken, it's a big picture of our PEP section. We're holding a farmer sign.
Of
so
course.
I'm thinking it must be, I'm thinking it might have been the Russell
It
game.
was probably a Russell game. That's the only time we go that
Yes,
direction, so probably
but
a good chance.
it was a good picture. So I was excited to see that that's what they got, because it meant a lot of our students got in it, not just a couple. So
Hard to believe 2 months ago we started where we are today,
No.
and tomorrow is the official last day of school for the 1920 school year. And you look back, is it just me, or has these 2 months felt like they have lasted for about 8?
You know, I refer to them as dog years, because not to be negative, I mean, everyone's been great. Let me go ahead and say that. The teachers have been fantastic, the admin, working with them, James doing this show so that we can keep people informed. Our community has understood our situation and been very supportive. But yes, it has been a very, very long 2 months.
It's without a doubt.
So it's harder when the kids aren't here.
Yeah.
It is so much harder.
And kudos to our students at Greenup County throughout the entire school district. You guys have done a phenomenal job of adapting and overcoming. And I think that's a very important thing for us to understand is some of our students were really thrown to the fire of the distance learning thing. Not everybody was to that point, especially some of our littles. And I think that it's been probably more of a learning curve for the adults than it has been for the kids.
It has been, because they're naturals at the technology. But the part that they're not naturals about is the lack of social connection. Because, you know, little kids and older kids, they all need to interact, and it's very difficult to be within the same 4 walls every day. So kudos to those kids who went above and beyond, got their homework in on time. Nobody was having to track them down to get that. And, you know, we always hear about the ones we haven't heard from, or the ones who don't have homework, and rarely do we remember to focus on the ones who did do everything they needed to do. Showed up for the chats, parents were in the background cheering them on. So we appreciate parents, and I think you got an understanding of what homeschool could be like, and hopefully you still want to send your kiddos back to us and let us take care of them.
I think there's a lot of parents that's ready to get kids back in the building. Now, with that being said, as we said, tomorrow's the last official day for the school year. Please, everybody just take a deep breath and just relax. And
it's going to be a beautiful day, so it's a perfect day for a last day of school.
And it's one of the things, as far as what the 2020-2021 school year looks like, it's a long ways off. And yes, it's August is when people start talking about it, but we've got a lot of pieces that we still have to wait and see. And the nice thing that I think is that we put out there about it is there are 3 unified, organized plans being put in place.
Yes, we have 3.
Hopefully one of those work. But the nice part of it is that I always tell people, I said, I like to be proactive, not reactive. And I think in this case, that's the thing that we have. And a lot of stuff still to come to fruition over the summertime.
And that's a big deal in Greenup County. You have to be proactive, and you have to consider all aspects of the county. It's a large county.
Yes.
And so
Welcome to Sit Down with the Superintendent, presented by GCHS TV. Join us as we welcome Greenup County Superintendent Tracy Moracey to our roundtable discussion hosted by GCHS students. Welcome to Sit Down with the Superintendent, presented by GCHS TV. Join us as we welcome Greenup County Superintendent Tracy Moracey to our roundtable discussion hosted by GCHS students.
And welcome into our final edition of Sit Down with the Superintendent. I'm your host, James Collier, joined with Tracy Moracey. And the scene's a little different this last episode.
it is.
It's a truly sit-down show now.
It depicts what our year has turned into.
Yeah, I mean, it's you see the setting behind us. This is what we're putting forward right now for graduation. We're 2 nights in. Things have gone very well.
Yes.
We can't say thank you enough to all of our students, families, everybody that's been a part of it. all of the people behind the scenes that has helped get our students and our families in here and be able to celebrate this very memorable occasion.
Yes.
I can't get words out today.
We're tired.
Yes.
We're not going to lie, we're tired. We've been here every night. I cannot say thank you enough, even just to the staff who have went above and beyond, putting things together, organizing. I mean, to the degree of, you can't see it here, but there are arrows and lines and markings all over this room where people can stand so that we're doing the social distancing like we need, but we can still get a few families in at a time instead of having people waiting outside. We can actually get a line and a procession going, and kids are getting to see each other graduate a little bit, which is a little bit more than I think what people were understanding. We've had quite a few people come up to us afterwards and say, hey, I didn't realize this is what it was going to be like, and this isn't bad.
Yeah, it was kind of something we didn't know what to expect either when we put this together, and we really took our time. And you know, kudos to Jason Smith for all of the stuff that he really sat down and had the kind of the nuts and bolts behind this, and then we ironed out a few things, and so far this thing it's gone very, very well.
Yes, and Melissa Bowling has done a phenomenal job coordinating with Miss Lemaster, and I know Scarlett Shoemaker's been over here quite a bit doing the spacing and the arrows and all of that. So it's just kind of been a team effort. And James, thank you very much. I know you have to be exhausted, and I would love to tell you your work is done, but
I still have a little bit to
you
go.
have a little more to do. So
It's I will say this, I'm through most of day 2 on the editing. All of the opening ceremonies is finished and stuff, and I'm really excited for the product for everyone to get to see next Friday night. This will air live next Friday night. It will start at 7 p.m. It'll be on YouTube. We'll post the stream links, several different avenues across social media. And the nice part of it is that if you can't watch it live at 7 o'clock, you can always go back and watch it anytime that you wish. And feel free to share that link out with your friends and family as well.
and they can download and save.
Yes.
You can download and save. Another option you might want to check out, this Saturday on prime time, they are doing an honor to 2020 graduates.
Okay.
And Greenup County actually submitted pictures
Nice.
to this, and I got a sneak preview, and I think we made the cut.
Cool.
So Saturday night it's going to be on CBS, Fox, ABC. All the big stations are doing a tribute to high school graduates, and if I'm not mistaken, it's a big picture of our PEP section. We're holding a farmer sign,
Of
so
course.
I'm thinking it must be. I'm thinking it might have been the Russell
It was
game.
probably a Russell game. That's the only time we go that direction, so probably
but
a good chance.
it was a good picture. So I was excited to see that that's what they got, because it meant a lot of our students got in it, not just a couple. So
Hard to believe 2 months ago we started where we are today,
Yeah.
and tomorrow is the official last day of school for the 1920 school year. And you look back, is it just me, or has these 2 months felt like they have lasted for about 8?
you know, I refer to them as dog years, because not to be negative, I mean, everyone's been great. Let me go ahead and say that. The teachers have been fantastic, the admin, working with them, James doing this show so we can keep people informed. Our community has understood our situation and been very supportive. But yes, it has been a very, very long 2 months.
It's without a doubt.
So it's harder when the kids aren't here.
Yeah.
It is so much harder.
And kudos to our students at Greenup County throughout the entire school district. You guys have done a phenomenal job of adapting and overcoming. And I think that's a very important thing for us to understand, is some of our students were really thrown to the fire of the distance learning thing. Not everybody was to that point, especially some of our littles. And I think that it's been probably more of a learning curve for the adults than it has been for the kids.
It has been, because they're naturals at the technology. But the part that they're not naturals about is the lack of social connection. Because, you know, little kids and older kids, they all need to interact, and it's very difficult to be within the same 4 walls every day. So kudos to those kids who went above and beyond, got their homework in on time. Nobody was having to track them down to get that. And, you know, we always hear about the ones we haven't heard from, or the ones who don't have homework, and rarely do we remember to focus on the ones who did do everything they needed to do. Showed up for the chats, parents were in the background cheering them on. So we appreciate parents, and I think you got an understanding of what homeschool could be like, and hopefully you still want to send your kiddos back to us and let us take care of them.
I think there's a lot of parents that's ready to get kids back in the building. Now, with that being said, as we said, tomorrow's the last official day for the school year. Please, everybody just take a deep breath and just relax. And
it's going to be a beautiful day, so it's a perfect day for a
yeah,
last day of school.
it's one of the things, as far as what the 2020-2021 school year looks like, it's a long ways off. And yes, it's August is when people start talking about it, but we've got a lot of pieces that we still have to wait and see. And the nice thing that I think is that we put out there about it is there are 3 unified, organized plans being put in place.
Yes, we have
And
3.
hopefully one of those work. But the nice part of it is that I always tell people, I said, I like to be proactive, not reactive. And I think in this case, that's the thing that we have. And a lot of stuff still to come to fruition over the summer.
And that's a big deal in Greenup County. You have to be proactive, and you have to consider all aspects of the county. It's a large county.
Yes.
And so I know everyone's heard the rumors out there about an AB schedule. They've heard about a delayed start, an early start. We are working on 3 separate calendars. There's an early start, the regular start, and delayed start. Most of those calendars, the logistics still look the same. You'd have the same breaks, just that you would have later end dates or earlier end dates based on when we get to start. As of right now, we're still planning on our August calendar. That's where we're looking. July is something that the state has mentioned to us. We're pretty sure the kids are exhausted, the parents are exhausted, and the teachers are exhausted to the point that it might be, we just want to see where this virus is going.
Sure.
So we're putting July on the table just because we need to have a proactive approach, but I think it's probably the least popular choice right now.
I agree with that totally.
I'm afraid I might get ran out of town.
Yeah, I may fire you from the show right now, okay? You start talking about July, no.
Yes, but that is one of the things they've asked us to prepare for. We have prepared it. We do not plan on using it unless we are forced to use it.
One thing to put out is, and this is still on the sports side, per the KHSA, we are still in a mandated dead period, which again, there's a different direction it's going because the announcement saying, I think it was June 15th, the governor has allowed, as of right now, that it's very few contact sport that you can do. So essentially baseball, softball, stuff of that nature.
Golf.
That the golf,
I've heard golf might be an
stuff
option.
that you can still practice social distancing on. But as of right now, everything is still under the dead period, and that's one of the things that we have to understand is that we can't go out and, again, if your kid is, if they're a high school baseball player, they can't go off right now and play in another league because they're still a rostered player for that team.
Yes, and so we'll know more, and as Commissioner Tackett starts to release more information to everyone, but he does send something weekly just to kind of let us know where we are, and that was his latest.
Yeah.
But one of the things they did mention for fall that should not be a problem would be golf, and they mentioned cross country would be one that would be, because they're all individualized sports.
And I think that the time right now, they were forced, they had to go across the board.
You did.
But now they can look at details, and there may be some sports that they can do that maintain social distancing that's okay. And there's other sports that maybe some are not going to like what they hear. I know that they've talked different avenues about football. And, you're talking about playing football if we do with no one in the stands.
Yes.
And that's going to be a very different thing. And again, when you look at football and basketball, those are your revenue sports, and there's a lot of programs that fund their entire athletic program based off of those 2 seasons.
Yes, those two sports have your highest revenue, and also your most contact.
Yes.
So I feel like that all of our sports go off the emotions of the crowd. They feed off the crowd, and so that's the part that I'm the most concerned about is, the crowd is what helps. You're like the 12th man on the field.
That's the home field advantage.
So I'm not excited about that. I know coaches aren't. I'm very pro competition.
Yes.
In case anybody hasn't figured that out, and so I really want to see it.
We'll take there was always an old saying that anytime that you went into the RCA Dome in Indianapolis, they always claimed that they were pumping in extra crowd noise. We may have to work on that.
I feel like you're the guy for the job.
I may have a few ideas behind
Okay,
that.
all right,
so.
good to know, good to know.
Also, if you have any uniforms by any means, whatever season it may have been, get those back to your coaches. We do need to collect all of those to make certain we have everything back that we started with.
And Chromebooks.
Yes.
We loaned out a lot
Chromebooks,
of Chromebooks.
calculators, any of that stuff needs to be returned.
If you've gotten your work finished and you've missed the drop-off date, that's okay. We will take them. We're still in the buildings. Come by, let them check it out.
Yeah, so you're tired too.
Yeah, I am. And it doesn't mean that we won't reloan it in the fall if that's what we need to do.
Sure.
But we just need them back and get them accounted for.
Let's talk about the grading situation, and there's been several different things throughout the way that the situation was going with grading. Essentially, the way that it was determined is the student in the fourth 9 weeks cannot go anything lower than their first 3 9 weeks grade average. Talk to me a little bit about that.
So we started looking at what disparities kids would be coming across by not having a teacher with them face-to-face on a day-to-day basis. And we know that's the role of the teacher. That's the beauty of in-school and not doing homeschool, is to have that access to that teacher that makes those connections. So because we felt there was still going to be some disparity for kids, we chose to go the route that any grades you had the first 3 9 weeks, because it just so happened that this ended on the last day of the third 9 weeks. So it was a perfect break for everything. But the problem is no one had fourth 9 weeks grades. So what we have done is we have just made a statement to all the schools from the district office that all 3 9 weeks can be averaged into what is your average grade, and whatever you come up with the items that were submitted in fourth 9 weeks, that will be included so that you cannot go lower than what you ever were in the first, second, and third 9 weeks. So your fourth 9 weeks cannot go lower than what you already had. So you can't suddenly fail Algebra 2 because you were making C's and B's but just didn't have maybe access at home to get the extra tutoring
Sure.
and things that you might have needed to understand how to do a quadratic equation. This gives them a little bit more of a break. Now, this doesn't mean that if you sat and didn't turn in a single thing, you're automatically getting a B. That is a whole different avenue. If you've been non-existent and you've got to show up and do some work.
Yeah.
But if you have put forth your effort, then the teachers are on board to make sure that you get nothing lower than what you already had. Now, remember, you might have just rocked it at home, and that might be what you're really good at, is doing online learning. You might have raised your grade, and you can easily raise your grade. So
Absolutely.
it can go higher than what the original average was. It just can't go lower.
And understand this too, that if we would end up in a situation to where we go back to school under the distance learning program in August, this is basically a one-time
This
gig.
is a gift.
Yeah, take it.
This is a wash.
Yeah.
Because when we go back in August, it's going to be all hands on deck, making the adjustments and making sure that we're problem solving all summer long to fix those gaps.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be doing this summer, is finding out ways to reach kids who were having gap issues.
And again, we understand the situation. It was a very unique situation. There was a lot of intangibles that some people didn't know how to attack, and it's been, as Jason Smith says all the time, he said, we've been building this plane as we fly it. But I think we've got a flyable airplane for the fall model if we need it. So
We've got a flight plan.
yeah, I think we're
3 of them.
definitely clear for takeoff. Real quick, Eugene, Grace, thanks for letting me know. I had a few audio problems.
Oh, okay.
We were a little low today.
Were we?
Yeah,
Okay.
but we're set up a little different. Like I said, we're not in the studio, so things are a little different.
I'm
But
not using my teacher voice.
no, there's not a teacher voice in me right now.
Yeah.
It's not there. When we wrap up with schools, I know we've got the schools that are allowing kids to come back in and get that stuff out. if for some reason a student missed one of those days, they couldn't get back in, is there a way they can contact someone at school to get back in and get that stuff?
Schools are still open 9 to 1, and actually staff is still reporting until May 28th. So those are optional hours to come in, reach out, do an email, call the school, and they will make arrangements to meet you there and make sure you get what you need.
Excellent. So yeah, make sure to get back in, get any of that stuff out of the lockers, because that's the one thing is that once the deadline passes, then the custodial staff will start going back through and removing all that stuff, doing their full cleanings and stuff. And I know like right now at the high school, they've already gutted the classroom, started resurfacing the floors. My floor has already been ready for next year.
Well, you got all your equipment
Yeah,
out,
all my
so,
stuff's down here, so it made it easy. But
here's a perfect example. My own child, her day is today to go to Wortland Middle School and get her items out of her locker. Obviously, she is a 6th grader. She's not driving herself down there. And so
hasn't turned her loose with the car yet.
I have not turned her loose with the car yet. We are starting to turn her loose on a bike.
There you
That's
go.
about it. So with that said, I will do an arrangement to get Maria's stuff.
Yeah.
And I think they do even have a makeup date at Wortland Middle School on Monday.
Gotcha.
So.
For the high school, also wanted to pass this along. Miss Cooper just sent this out right before we went on the air. Awards for students that will be picked up May 18th. You can pick those up, and there's a list that that has been posted to the teachers. We're going to share that through Google Classroom with our classes, so you can see if you have an award that you need to come by and pick up May 18th here at the high school for those awards that you can come in.
Shout outs to the middle schools and the elementary schools who have been doing the virtual awards. I don't know if you've seen some of those, but they've done a very nice job. Check them out on Facebook and Twitter. They've been posting individual student awards, all A's, all B's, grade level awards, and subject areas. So, and then out in the parking lot out here, you will see some nice banners that have been hung by our maintenance department and arranged through T&L Photography. And we just wanted the spring sports to have the same honors that the other sports usually get. So those are hung outside so that everyone can see them.
Nice. So we've got a lot of those out there.
I saw a few senior pictures yesterday where a senior stood by their banner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was
Nice.
neat to see.
And one thing that I wanted to point out, because I did have a couple questions. If your senior is not hanging out here, the big reason for that is that they probably did not get the photograph over to their coach.
Yeah, you gotta get it to us.
So
we
you
can
got to
do
get it to us, and if you haven't gotten it over to us yet, that's fine. Still get it to us. We'll get those taken care of. We want to celebrate all of our seniors that lost their senior seasons here in the spring sports. So, so if you look out there and you don't see your senior, let us know, and we'll get that taken care
I would
of.
like to get those up if anybody still has theirs to submit, because it would be great to have that up for the parade.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, we've got one final segment of the Victory Garden. Carrie Davis, I had to bring her out of retirement. Mr. Blevins, his wife, they're due for their first child.
Yes,
So
I heard yesterday was the deadline, but I haven't heard.
I haven't heard anything yet, but he told me last week, he said, you're going to have to tag team in. So I got Carrie Davis, and she was super prepared, super nervous.
I have no doubt.
And did a fabulous job. So this will be our final segment of the Victory Garden. So we'll play that. We'll come back. We'll wrap it up here in just a little bit. All right, welcome back to another edition of our Victory Garden segment. Joined with Carrie Davis this week. Mr. Blevins, he had to tag you in. His wife, I believe, they're ready to have their first baby, so we had to give him a slide on this one.
Yes,
but
for sure.
This will be our final segment as we've gone through all of this, and we're going to bring in our original tomato plant a little bit later on. But today we're going to talk about some soil, and we're actually going to be planting stuff through seed. So let's go through that. Let's start first with our soil. There's a lot of things people don't understand, that you can have soil that's too dry, which a lot of people think of. You can also have soil that's way too wet.
For sure. So for a seed to germinate, there are some requirements that the environment has to offer. First of all, there has to be adequate moisture for the seed coat to take in moisture, swell, and then rupture, which would release the root radicle and the cotyledon. And if there's not enough moisture, those things aren't going to happen. If there's too much moisture, your seed is going to rot. And so there's a simple test you can do, whether you are seeding inside or outside. And so soil that's too dry, when you do a gentle squeeze, does not keep the shape of your hand at all, way too dry. Likewise, soil that's too wet, when you do
the mud balls.
Yes, when you do a gentle squeeze, water is dripping out, and that's too much. Okay, soil that is at the right moisture level, when you take a fist and make a gentle squeeze. It keeps the shape of your hand, but you could like easily knock it apart. So that's right about perfect.
Now, one thing, bring the bucket back over, because this is one of the things we talked about in the container planning that we talked about, that you can put this in the bucket. If you don't put those holes in the bottom of it, you can kind of see down in the bottom of the bucket there. It's just a big slimy sludge, and this will kill your plants. And the other thing of it is, too, this type of soil, while everybody thinks that, oh, the water is so great for it, the root never has a chance to really develop because it actually rots from the bottom up.
For sure, it drowns. And so a lot of times we don't think, we're so worried about not watering our plants and then dying, but there is air pockets in there that are absolutely equally as necessary as moisture for the...
Yeah, when you get these pots from the store, the holes are in there purposely.
Yes.
It wasn't just somebody that was bored and they thought, oh, well, we've got these lying around and stuff. So, again, if you have anything that's like this at home, yeah, we don't want that, okay? So this is bad.
Yeah, and you can drill holes in the bottom of your bucket, or if you don't want to drill holes in your bucket for something later, just throw some gravel or broken pottery shells in there. That'll kind of give you a
and again, if you go in the bucket, you can just kind of come in here in the bottom, take a small drill bit, a 1/4-inch bit, put you 2 or 3 holes in the bottom here. Don't come up on the sides, because I guarantee you want that water not to pocket in the bottom of the bucket. Go ahead and let it drip out of the bottom, and you're good to go from there. So that's a little thing that we can work with there. All right, so let's look. We've got our great soil here. This one's ready for some seeds. So let's plant some stuff. What are we going to plant today?
Well, we have some bush bean seeds that we're just going to start. And so I would maybe like to mention, if you are lucky enough to have a garden space, checking your soil moisture is going to be equally important outside. Sometimes we're at the mercy of Mother Nature, how much rainfall she's given us, and also the geography of our garden. If we have a low-lying area, it might pool, so you'll kind of have to watch the workability of your soil. But and so that is one of the ways that we can seed. You can take these seeds for sure, and you can do what we call direct seeding, which is take them right out into your garden or into your container that they're going to grow in permanently, and you can directly seed them and wait for them to germinate and go. There are some risks, especially when you direct seed out in the garden, because you might have low germination rates, or the weather might be a factor, and then also little animals might come along and want to munch on the tops, and so then you have planned for this space, but then you didn't have as many plants make it to fruition as you had wanted. So the other method that we can use is indirect seeding, which is a little bit more labor, but it offers several advantages. And so you can start these inside, baby them along, and then when they're ready to transplant into your container that you want to keep on your porch or the garden, you have an exact plant, exact number that you can put in a space, and you off a little bit bigger head start.
This is kind of what you get when you go to the store, you go to the greenhouse, and you purchase those plants. Those plants have been in a greenhouse, they've been indirect seeded,
Yes.
and then they're ready to come out of that and go back into the ground.
Yeah, for sure. So you can start indirect seeding in your house in anything, and probably a lot of the kids in their grade schools have done projects where they start them in egg cartons or even egg shells or little cups. You can put them in anything, and so we just have a little pot here. And so the main things are, you want to read the package label and say, okay, what's the planting depth, and you want to just put your seeds in there, and then
And you're just basically lying the seeds right on the top part of the soil, and then just enough soil to cover those up. You're not shoving them down inside the plant pot whatsoever, just enough to keep them nice and covered.
Right. And covering is, well, I should say, you can cover them with a paper towel. A lot of kids have probably done the terrarium project in school, and you can seal it in there with that. The main thing is maintaining that moisture, keeping the moisture in there, and increasing that seed to soil contact so it can absorb moisture from the soil and then germinate for you. You're going to want to water these because, again, they need moisture to germinate. Some people will spritz it with water. That's a gentle way to water. If you're going to pour water on it, that's okay, but a lot of times what happens is you're pouring water on and it exposes the seed, and we lose that seed to soil contact. Yes. The paper towel is a good barrier for when you do pour water on it. It will let the moisture stay in there, but it won't. It will, I got too ahead of myself. This will protect the seed from being exposed. And then as the seed germinates and those cotyledons emerge, it will gently push your paper towel up, and you can check it every day and see. Sure. And once you see the cotyledons emerging, you can just take this off and you're done.
So you want to leave that on there until you start to see something actually coming through the soil as first.
Yeah.
Good deal.
That's a good. And I would say whether you are direct or indirect seeding, labeling is important, or at least making a note somewhere, because these bush bean seeds can take 10 to 14 days to germinate, and it'd be real easy to lose track of time and give up on them and pitch them. And so you can make a label out of anything. You could even with a pencil write on the paper towel today's date, and then I always write what type it is because I am very forgetful, and I'll be like, what
I
was
think a
that
lot
again?
of us are this time of year.
And there will be a big surprise between.
And that was one of the things that Mr. Blevins and I talked about last week. We did some cucumber seeds, and he said, the nice thing with cucumber seeds, you see something very rapidly. And he said probably within a week to 2 weeks, you're ready to take that out of the container, put it in the ground if you want to.
Yep.
Let's talk about if you're going to a garden, and again, sometime we're at Mother Nature's mercy, and I know the area that I have labeled out for my garden, I've got a very large size. It's inside of a fenced-in area, so I keep all the critters out, but it's on a little bit of an incline. So when you start looking at that, you have to understand, as you talked about the runoff, certain plants don't want a lot of water, certain plants want a lot of water, and you have to plan for that for when you get that rain runoff to make certain. Don't put your pepper plants down where all that water's going. They don't want a lot.
No. That's make your land work for you, because we've all been given some different spot of land, and there's so much to it, and we see it as a challenge, but we can try to make it beneficial if we think about it ahead of time.
And this is something that right now, again, we're all kind of stuck in the house and staying safe and healthy at home. This is a great project for the kids to do, because the nice thing is, especially if they do a seed, a lot of those things happen very, very rapidly. So they see that instant impact they like to see, so they can see what's going on, and it gives them a little bit of kind of a feeling of success that they've done something.
For sure, for sure. I might like to cover our onion sets before we leave.
Yes, absolutely. I love some onion sets.
Okay.
I just like to take the tops off, the green onions. That's the best part.
So many parts that we can enjoy that are edible. So when you pick, you can do onions from seeds, but the quicker way is from these sets. And so there's a little tuft at the bottom that may even look like a root structure, and that would be the pointy top needs to go toward the top. And so you're going to put that into just where the pointy top is, just barely at the surface. And 4 to 6 inches is about the right spacing. Some people will space them closer because they might like to go in and pick the tops off or pull up young, smaller onions, or you can wait till they get bigger. It really depends on your preference, and you can eat the top or eat the bottom. Don't be afraid when you pull your onion out of the ground. If it's like the outside layer looks a little rough, peel that off, and inside you'll get to a nice product that you would want to take in and put on the dinner table.
Now, speaking of onions, there's 2 different ways that you can grow these, and actually you can do both of them at the same time. You have to determine, are you going after the wild green onion part of it, or are you going actually after the onion itself? And if you want the larger onion head, that's all about your soil, because the tighter compacted the soil is, the smaller that onion's going to stay, because it can't grow and expand.
Yes, soil composition affects a lot of our root crops and the way they grow, and so absolutely that would be something to consider. And again, it goes back to, what's my land giving me? Is there a place that's maybe a little bit less clay around here,
yeah, really,
little sandier or loamier, that we could put those root crops in?
And again, if you're going to do something like that, something that you can always do, get yourself a couple bags of topsoil or potting soil to really loosen up that ground and kind of do a nice mixture so it keeps that ground nice and soft for that type of plant. Now, if you're just going after, you just want the green onions, not a big deal. It'll harden up, it'll hold that thing right in place where it wants, and they'll grow as large as you want them to be. But if you're after that onion head as well at the end, keep that soil loose, because as soon as it starts to compact around it, that onion's pretty much where it is.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about our big guy here. Week 1, Mr. Blevins and I, we put this in our pot, and this was a tiny little tomato plant, and now look at it. It's at the point we were talking this morning. This is ready for a stake now.
Yes, for sure. The earlier you can stake your tomatoes, the better, because you reduce the risk of damage to the roots by waiting till they get too big. And also I might mention that this is a good time to pick off these bottom green leaves. One way you can tell is some of them are even in the soil, and so just pinching them off real close to the stem, and then as you go off, as your plant gets bigger, there'll be more limbs that you want to pick off.
Now,
or sucker.
what does that obtain? What do we do by picking those off? What does that do for the plant?
Right. So one thing is, with this touching the soil, it's going to rot, and that causes a problem that can spread back. Another one is, and the main thing is, it allows the plant to put more nutrients to the top part and ultimately to the produce. And so any kind of weak limbs or damaged limbs, you'll want to pick them off as they go so that it can put more nutrients toward that instead of those little ones.
And then we talk about staking this, and this is something we said, depending on whether we're going to keep it in this planter or if we were putting it in the garden, the earlier you can get the stake in the ground, the better, because the one thing is as this plant gets larger, the roots really start to develop, and if you go into the ground at that point, you can really disrupt that root structure.
Yep, for sure. Earlier would be better.
Earlier would be better. So
Well, I'd say this thing, he's probably grown at least 2 or 3 inches and really has started to bush out.
It's very dark green, a good color.
Yeah, it's got
Healthy.
a good color. We can look at the soil looks nice and moist, but not too wet. And I'd say probably in about 6 to 8 weeks, we'll probably start seeing some nice red ripe tomatoes on this one. But we'll see that from another day. Carrie Davis, thank you so much.
Thank you, James Collier.
And it's been a fun time here with the Victory Garden. Hoping everyone at home has had success with your gardens. And again, send us those pictures through the Facebook page, correct? Help me out here. I forgot what it was.
There's Greenup County Farm to Table. We want to see what you're growing and what food you're putting on your own table. And then there's the hashtag TogetherGC. And we're excited to see it.
Guys, stay safe at home. Have a great summer, and we'll talk to you soon. So there you see our final segment for the Victory Garden. And again, continue to send those pictures over to the Farm to Table Facebook page. You can also, if you're on Twitter, use the hashtag TogetherGC. We love to see what you guys have done with this. And it's been a fun segment for me to go in and talk a little bit about the gardening aspect and stuff. It's something I enjoy doing as a hobby. And when I do my stuff, all the stuff I typically grow outside of my corn, it's specifically for salsa.
Oh, okay.
That's the only thing I do. I mean, I peppers, tomatoes, onions, it's all for the salsa.
I can see
so,
that. Do you do your own cilantro?
No, I don't do the own cilantro. I've never tried the cilantro. I make...
I hear it grows pretty evenly, actually.
Yeah, it probably would. I may have to try to put some of that in the ground this year.
That's what makes it.
It's
I
all...
gotta have my cilantro.
My big secret to mine's brown sugar.
Oh, you make a hot sweet?
I make 3 different types. I make a sweet, I make a sweet heat, and then I just make a straight hot. And the hot, it warms you up pretty good.
Okay.
So I've got plenty of hot still in the cupboard.
So I have a question. Are we switching over from doing the vegetable segments and Victory Gardens into homemade cooking?
Listen, I've already got my girls that take care of the cooking segment. I'll turn that loose.
Try
I
to
don't know
give
if
them
I
all
would
your
turn.
products.
I don't know if I would turn that group of girls loose with peppers. I just don't know that that's a safe thing.
I have confidence in this.
Kiara, Aaliyah, and Haley, if you guys are watching, I love you, okay? But I am not giving you any form of peppers.
Gloves, ladies.
Yes.
Don't touch your eyes. You're fine.
Funny story. I remember when I first started gardening, and I was making some omelets one morning, and I had cut up a pepper to put into the eggs. And later that day, I had gone in to take a cucumber and didn't even think about it and just grabbed the knife and just the oil had gotten on that.
Yeah.
And we thought that we had something that had cross-pollinated. We thought we had like a pepper cucumber or something.
Oh, you thought
no,
you
it was
mixed
just dummy me that didn't get the knife washed off well enough.
Do the dishes.
Goodness sakes.
Okay, so I want to see that tomato on a sandwich.
Oh gosh,
at
yes.
some point, just like, because this is our last show.
Yes.
So we need to make sure you're posting a picture of that.
I have to tell Carrie to make sure. I'm gonna have to get that plant, just take it home and take care of it, and then I'll post it. We'll put a label across it, Together GC, and we'll have the big sandwich with it.
That sounds great.
That'd be fabulous.
All right.
Tracy, 2 more nights of graduation to go.
Yes.
But this has been an event that we had no idea what to expect going in, and knock on wood, it has been an amazing success so far.
Yes, and it's all about that organization. So, and cooperation from the families, understanding that they have to wear masks. I will tell you that our masks that we provide you are not fantastic, because we had to go the lowest, cheapest budget route we could go with it, and still
meets the PPE standard.
Yes, it still meets the standards, and they're approved, but they are not anything they're not a fashion statement.
Yes.
That's what I'll say. So if you have your own mask, please bring your mask and wear it. You do not have to wear it across the stage. When you get to the corner up here at the edge of the stage, you remove your mask, and that way it's not in the picture. So don't worry about that. But if you just wear your mask so that while you're waiting and you're in groups, when you're doing the close communication and talking, we like you to have a mask on.
Absolutely. So again, 5 o'clock tonight that starts up. Again, 5 o'clock tomorrow night. And we hope to have everybody finished up at that point. And then this will be posted on YouTube. It'll air live Friday, May 22nd at 7 p.m. That was our scheduled time for graduation here
and you'll be able to sit down and watch that with your family. And again, if you can't watch it at 7 o'clock that evening, it's posted there. Sit down and watch it at your convenience and whenever you
And
can.
what's neat is the families who couldn't have flown in to see it will now get to still see it.
Absolutely.
So I know
So-
a lot of people have flights issues. They can't do that now, and people come in and see their graduates, and now you can share it across the country. And then just don't forget, next week, the 21st, we're going to work on getting better details out to you, but we do want to have a senior parade.
Yeah.
So we will see you on the 21st, and then show you a nice show on the 22nd.
Yep. So, guys, stay home, stay healthy. Again, even though they're starting to open up the state, again, follow those 10 guidelines that Governor Beshear talks about each day with his teleconference. If you can stay in, stay there. But if you do go out, do it in a safe manner. So.
And just know I did
Oh,
finally
wait a minute. We
upgrade.
got to stop this. I can't allow this on my show.
I am a Marshall graduate. Everything I have is Marshall University.
Tracy.
But someone gave me one of these, and I wore it. And I don't have a problem with it. I'm okay with it. It's okay. It's all right.
It's such a terrible color. I
it's
feel so
not.
I feel so bad right now. I'm very very uncomfortable.
My preference is green. My preference is green.
And I will say this: I have seen Tracy sitting through rain at
a Marshall game.
At a Marshall game.
Yeah,
So
I'm a diehard
yeah,
Herd
she's
fan.
a diehard Herd fan.
But
So
yeah, so just so you know, I'm doing my part.
she's doing her part. Guys, have a great summer. Thank you for everything that you guys have done, from the students to the faculty and staff to our parents and guardians at home. Thank you for everything that you guys have done. Tracy, I know that you've gotten moved, and hopefully you guys are ready to settle in and enjoy that new home. So
Yes.
2 more nights of graduation, and hopefully we can relax for just a little bit.
So I'm ready to just get on my couch. for a little bit.
Absolutely. Guys, for everybody here at GCHS TV, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great summer.
Have a great summer.
Call this regular meeting to order. May the 12th, 2020. We are abiding by the 6-foot rule.
Don't move too much to be off the picture. The art is early though.
All right, first item on the agenda is to, well, we gotta do the prayer and the pledge.
Call the roll.
Call the roll first, then we'll do, Ernie, you do the prayer, Tony, you do the pledge, please.
Ernie Duty.
Here.
Tony Quillen.
Here.
Andrew Allen.
Here.
Bobby Carpenter.
Here.
Father, we love you and thank you for this day. We just pray that as we go in this meeting, you help us make great decisions for the citizens of our county, Lord. We pray that you continue to keep your hand upon your people, Lord, and just heal this land, heal all these ailments that are going on. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all, be seated. First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of our first Zoom meeting, which was last month, April 14th. I didn't see any changes other than we had a problem with the E&E bill that we approved on that bridge, and I got with Sarah and she's fixing it today. But that don't have to change the minutes. So I need a motion that we approve the April 14th minutes.
So moved.
Second. Have a motion second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Have a motion, need a motion then pay the bill for monies available. And Sharon, do we have anything extra to add that's not on the bill list? Okay, I didn't have anything either. Need a motion.
So moved.
Second. Have a motion second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Old business, McConnell House River Report. I don't see anything on the report. Right on down to number 2. I just wanted to inform you that we are renting the former Town Square building over here for the election. They'll have their absentee voting there 15 days prior to the election or whatever it is upstairs. It'll be over there through a drive-through. And Desco was gracious enough to let us have it for nothing. And I think if they have charges, they can be $1 just to keep everything straight, but that's fine. But we'll just say no, and we're gonna thank them publicly when they can. Cause they're even gonna let us hook the internet up and stuff for us. So, I just wanted to let you all know that. Second reading of the E911 ordinance, surcharge fee discussion only. We've just discussed that. Do we need to go any further? I wanted Wilson to be here when we done that.
I think, just like you said, we're gonna hold off on it right now until next month. We've had some communication with the electric companies and stuff. I know there's been communication out there of why we've done this, and part of the reason I just want to be clear on it is, like we've said before in the previous meetings, it's not been raised in 20 years.
20 years.
Since E911 was started. A lot of other things have increased, but this hasn't. And we've heard some pushback. It's for the new building that we purchased several months ago. We got that building very, very cheap. And we paid cash for that, so it's not for that building. That building's paid for, and that building will now house E911, emergency management, and the county coroner's office,
Right.
Which in return frees up space upstairs where the sheriff needs evidence room. He has no evidence space at all, and that needs to be housed close to the sheriff's office. Plus, as somebody else, I think Sharon may have said, it helps us be ADA compliant. It just solves a lot of issues. Tony said it moves our E911 out of a floodplain, which again, it just helps keep everybody safe in the county and keeps that E911 operation running smoothly by moving it and being prepared for the future. So as times change, there's going to be times where things do need to increase, and the fee's reasonable and will help E911 sustain, and it'll help us to keep from taking money out of the general fund to be able to continue with our roads and our infrastructure. You know, another side that we get complaints on sometimes, not as much as used to, but you know, it'll help us continue to maintain our county, keep it safe, and keep it looking good and attractive for our tourists and everybody that comes through.
Good. Thank you for saying that. Mike, we talked about this a little bit earlier in the work session on the but we told, you know, the electric company we wouldn't vote on it today. We just discussed it only. But in our June meeting, we're all in agreement. If we're going to get with you, but we want to vote on it in the June meeting.
And, I've got a letter from Sites Harbison, which is a law firm down in Lexington, the represents the power company.
Yeah.
And they've got 8 issues they want to address in this ordinance. So this ordinance is going to have to be a little more detailed than we started out with. But within a month, I'll get most of it done.
Okay.
Some of it's easy stuff, and some of it's, they're saying we may even have to go to the Public Service Commission to get approvals, which I don't know about that.
And then something else we're going to work on, Mike, on that. Andrew had asked that we start like the first 6 months or leave it at 250.
Yeah, I understood.
The switch over. Then when we switch over to the 5, it'd be at the end of the 6 months.
Right.
In that area, however we can write it up legal wise.
And I think that's a good idea. You want to go from 250 to 5 over a 6-month period. I'll do that.
Is that correct, Sharon? Does that hold you in your budget? Okay. Thank you all. But that's what we wanted, Mike. That's all we discussed during the work session.
Okay, yes.
Okay. Anything else on that, y'all? Okay, we'll drop down to the auditor 2016 sheriff's settlement, $24,220.57. That's for the 2016 settlement of the former sheriff. Correct, Sharon?
Yes, for that was the 2016 tax, settlement, yes.
Okay, so we gotta pay that.
Yes. That's on the bill list as well as the 2017 tax settlement.
And it was how much?
$26,891.38.
Then I got a report yesterday, but I have not got it printed off yet. I got it on late last night from that same guy from the auditor's department on the rest of it through 18.
Okay.
And it wasn't, it's hard to cipher out. I want you to look at it.
Okay, I haven't received that yet. We've already paid the 2017 fee audit.
So we gotta pay, you're saying 24,000 and 26,000, just out paying the bills. They've already voted to do that, correct?
I'm gonna say some bill, please.
You know, somehow I still don't taste right. I just don't.
We've done it every year. We've paid 2 audits for the sheriff and 1 for the clerk. It's just we didn't receive so many at a time before.
Right, that's what it was. There's 4, is that not mine?
6.
6 of them they held up because they thought, you know, was mad at him or they was fighting or something.
I'll say this, I'm surprised it's not more.
Well, you and Sharon said the same thing.
Sometimes it's tough.
Okay.
They don't like it.
That's right, we'll just have to hump up and take it, but I just wanted to let you know, our insurance renewal at CAECO, Ernie and I talked about that, it took a 9.49 increase. They tried, the first lick was 19, and they come back and went with 9.49. How much did you say that 9.49 equaled out to? About 80,000?
Closer to 90.
90,000 increase. And that's, we don't have to do anything approval-wise on that, because it's already.
No, it's a professional service.
I just try to put on there for their information. Number 6 is the second reading of the 2021 budget. And the only thing different in it's got 154,000 less in road revenues over the daggone gas tax.
That was the.
That they've not got.
They had originally given us the numbers.
Nerve enough to put on.
We had done the budget with those, and then with the decrease in gas sales with COVID, they had to come back and readjust the numbers. So after we had submitted the budget to DLG, they had to send the numbers back to us with the new ones, so.
Well, I thought that's the number I seen was like 1,031,000 down to pretty much an even 1,030,000, that they basically decreased the 31,000.
It was 144,000 in county road aid and 9,000 something in municipal road aid.
Right, made 154 total. But, you know, she's worked her way around it and we're gonna get through it. We just have to hump up. All right, second reading of the 2021 budget. With that being said, I didn't see anything else. Been approved, first reading has. So do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion, second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Down to new business. Approve expenses and required workshops and seminars. I don't think you had too much hurry on that, Tony.
I know, in fact, I was wondering, you know.
How are we gonna get our hours?
They're gonna have to let it go video or something. You remember the first couple of years they did it, they used to send out some video.
Yeah, you
type
can
things
watch.
you could watch and so.
There's that, Woody, guy sent an email about doing some classes. Once he gets more, information, he'll come to the county and do trainings and maintain that social distancing.
Okay. All right, next item is the extension report from Ann Stevens, and I've got it in here.
So you don't need to vote on the workshops or anything?
The what now?
You don't need to vote on the workshops or anything?
We can't go anywhere, we're not allowed, so I just figured we'd pass
I
over.
didn't know they were gonna start having them back.
Well, we can vote on them if they have them.
I'll make the motion and give Judge the approval to send
Whoever.
whoever to workshops or seminars.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Maybe I have one social
They
distance.
may have one online too. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I never thought, yeah. I never
I've
thought
got
about
Ann
that.
Stevens'
Yeah.
report here somewhere, but I got to
I
find it.
said,
You got
I
Ann's
told you you
report?
said that.
Okay. All right, she says the extension work is continuing with reduced staff at the office each day. Programming is continuing under strict university guidelines. New extension on the move is project bags that are available free of charge on Thursdays inside the foyer, and it's materials for kids and adults. They have a free soil sample testing that's available now. And if you're like for your gardens, and then see your extension Facebook page for detailed programming. And this is from Ann Stevens. I asked her to start coming to our meetings. Jail report, got it here. $46 state inmates, 85 total,
Wow.
for Miss Angie Gray. It's not too bad, guys, doing this. Next item is the
Well,
E91, sorry.
Sorry. What did we figure as far as in the future budget, sort of similar numbers, or did we drop?
I dropped it.
Okay, good. Thank you. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Okay, down to the E911 report. He had got one that one girl was gonna leave and go to the state police, but we called and kind of talked her, hope into staying, and they said she canceled it, she's gonna stay with us. So I done away with that one. And he asked me to approve 911 to do the RFP for the 911 Service Board grant, starting Wednesday, May the 13th. We're not allowed to do it till then, to start on, with bids being due by the end of the closing of May 28th. And he wanted to know if we would have a virtual meeting on the 29th to award the bid. Note, this is awarded bid will only be granted if we receive the 911 Service Board grant for the UPS system to be installed at the new public safety building. It's all kind of hinging on if he gets the grant. So if I have to call me, we'll just have to call Zoom me or whatever. Or he can call and run it from there. So
So we need.
I just need a motion to approve 911 to go to do the RFP for that service board grant.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. And the alternative sentencing report, we're just working those guys that run the thing. Bob's running the garden, Lester's, and Jimbo are mowing with lawn mowers, or doing all the mowing that the jail people did before. They got 4 spots that they have to keep up. So it's just, we're working it out, we're making it. And, a lot different without our alternative sentencing people. But we're still getting that pretty well done. It's not, some of it's not as pretty as it used to because it gets higher, but it's working. And it rains every other day. County clerk's claim for preparing a vehicle and boat bills is we pay every year. It's $6,670.50. I need a motion that we pay. Have a motion? I hear a second.
Second.
All in favor? Ayes have it. Thank you. All right. Joe Taylor's part of this. Open bids to the public for the gravel, stone, blacktop, all the goodies. And you've got them, Andrew. While you're opening them stuff up, I'm going to also announce that we got 2 $50 donations for the Greenup County Humane Society. And this one's in the memory of J.B. Fairchild. And it's $50 from the Bellefonte Country Club. That's to our dog pound out here. And the other one is from Lisa Ayers and Jeffrey Ayers, $50. And it is in the memory of J.B. Fairchild from the Hyten family. So I just wanted to note those 2 donations, and I'll give these to Sharon. All right, first item on the bid list is some Consolidated Pipe and Supply, DeBoard, Kentucky. And Joe, they got them broke down. Looks like he's bid all plastic, what it looks like on the pipe. So we'll just have to go through these and then we'll award them after we figure out which one's the best bid. All right, that's one. Next item is American Asphalt of West Virginia, out of Canova. Wow, hot mix surface 6687, base 6412, no bid delayed. That's good. That's
What is it?
good.
Yeah, the petroleum still dropped. It's down 60 to 70%.
This one is from Kentucky Underground, Grayson, Kentucky, and he bid both plastic and galvanized. This one? MTW Tire Company. And he's bid every tire on there, Joe. This one is from Clay Tire from Grayson, and he bid all the tires also. It's like Henneke Drilling for the drilling of the rails. $6 a foot, and then if he furnishes the T-rail, it's $18 a foot. He went down, didn't he? Man, why have you got a bunch of them this morning, Andrew? Asphalt blacktop bid, Mountain Enterprises. Hot mix surface, 7725, base 73. Laid per ton is 1320 on top of it. That puts him $100 a ton laid, right? Well, 77.25, and then per ton laid is $13 more. Correct? 90. Daggone, that's up more than it was last year. Hell, and blacktop's the lowest it's ever been right now, ain't it?
I
I thought that's what I've seen.
Oil's definitely down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, oil's down one time minus $37. They're paying people to, like in April, in the May futures, they was paying in April 21st, minus $37.
I probably ought not said
It's
that.
on, but I mean, it is, it's on.
I'll have my mask up, man. I'm sorry I said that, but daggone, it's the truth.
It's $24, $25 a day.
The mask might hide your lips, but it can still hear.
You have to tell it.
I don't know, the rest of them may not be here, Bob, we make a comment about the covered bridge, but
But you know, I got a lot of yardage out of that. I don't know if Hank knows that story. I'll tell you after you get off the line. The next one is from Hanson Aggregates, AA Limestone, and they have bid them all, Joe. $12.25 fit sevens now. See, that goes with that, I'm sorry. The next one goes with bulk plant for the oil and gas and fuel. Gasoline looks like $140.31 plus applicable taxes. So you'll have to figure that. Anything in there? This one is for gravel and stone from Mountain Material Brushy Quarry. $11.75 fit seven. I'm gonna give you an average. And the last bid is Cargill Incorporated Salt. Price per pickup is $89.92 per ton.
Down a little bit.
Down a little bit. And that is all the bids. I need a motion that we accept them in, and we will, Joe and I'll go through them, and then we'll award them at the next court meeting.
So moved.
Second.
A motion second, any more discussion? All in favor? Ayes have it, thank you. Doug Collins, is he in here, Joe? He's supposed to present us with the County Extension District Board's budget.
No, it's not the budget, it's just the activities. They didn't send it to me,
Okay,
so we'll put it on next month.
okay, I'll mark it off. And then I've got to accept the 2021 budget for the County Extension Service. And it is we just accept this into record, the Greenup County Extension District Board's 2021 budget. And it looks like their total appropriations is $463,000. I need a motion. Sorry. Have a motion, I hear a second.
Second.
All in favor? Ayes have it, thank you. All right, down to open meeting to the floor. Hank?
It's yours, Hank.
I just want you to repeat the statement you made.
No, I'm not. You're all the time getting me in trouble, like Bob.
Bobby, I've known you 50 years, I don't think it's me doing it.
Well, I've worked with him 22 years, and I agree with you.
I never thought a Republican would ever agree with you.
He's the best boss I ever had.
Thank you, Michael. All right, Mike, I told him after today, the courtroom's turned over to the county clerk.
And I don't know, but I think the way the cooperation with everybody that's going on here, we had a great meeting yesterday and worked a lot of details out. And everybody's trying to help somebody else.
Right.
And I see other counties, I don't think they're doing as well, and I'm proud of Greenup County.
Thank you.
And
I wanted to also,
it's a really critical thing. I mean, if her people get sick, we're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
We got an election coming up. It's not gonna be a big election from the point of view of the presidential, I don't think. But we got a wet, dry election, which I would, bring that up, and that's gonna be important to a lot of precincts. And she's in charge, and she's got a real challenge. So.
she does, and that's the reason she has to have this room, because they gotta have it completely, we changed all the locks. So Stanley got them changed yesterday, and then we'll have to put a lock on this door, and Doug will have to go through my office to get to his. But we can live with that till after and the June meeting will be a Zoom meeting, because we can't get in here.
Right.
And, another thing I haven't talked to the court about yet, because we got kind of started a little bit late, is what we agreed on yesterday, the office holders. I want to leave this entrance down here as a permanent. If we even have to buy a metal detector, if I can get Jeff to help us with that point, or I asked Matt Smith yesterday if maybe we could hire somebody to sit there and check these people as they come in, even before they went upstairs, if we can't get them. Because I just think it's a time that should have been done 5 years ago for safety reasons, and now it's a good excuse because people were ready for it. They're used to it now, and I think that's something that we should do permanently. And I was hoping you all would agree to that.
You mean, keep that as the only?
Only entrance into this courthouse, and
Is that for the public?
that is for the public, yes, sir.
I know there's 2 girls upstairs that would love that, because we have some people that come in pretty fired up sometimes.
Yeah.
I can vouch for
Yeah,
that.
Sharon come and told me about jumping on your feet.
There's 2 girls that would really appreciate that, and I appreciate it.
Another thing that we talked about is doing that, but everybody's supposed to wear a mask. And we ordered, and the fiscal court's paying for it, we have ordered these barriers to go between people that work, like right here to the front, they're clear. And that company promised us they'd have them here this week, but they're not. But they claim they'll have them here by the end of the week or first of next week. And that way, if we have to let a couple in from down there to go get their marriage license or something, at least the people upstairs will be safe. But Patty says until those are in, she doesn't want anybody in her office. We'll do it like we've been doing. We'll carry it upstairs and let them wait down at the door. And I don't think that's unfair. I don't think you're going to get too much griping about it.
That's reasonable.
And I think it's reasonable.
Now, talking about the metal detector, Buford was working on a grant for that. Do you know
He's still working, but he was supposed to got me a price yesterday.
Yeah.
He said the last price he had was like $3,500.
Yeah, it wasn't very
Wasn't much.
expensive.
But Mike, I was asking them yesterday, and nobody could answer because Jeff had a court meeting, he couldn't be here. He had a court case. If he'll leave, like he said, the one guy out here, and if I have to put one with it in the fiscal court's approval, we'll hire somebody and put them out there. The sheriff's department has to hire him, but I told him we would supplement the pay on him, whatever they don't pay.
Yeah, that's a great idea. You know, Preston is on the schedule, that he's done the Zoom and all the things, and he's on time. That's crazy. See, he had so many things he had to do. The deadlines about, charge of abuse and all those sort of things. He couldn't put things off, right? And he's had a trip that he canceled and has really kept up with it. Amazing.
Well, see, and AOC, the last count I've got from AOC, that they're not gonna do a thing until the 29th day of May, isn't it?
Right.
and that'll make June 3rd or 4th before they go back to work.
Yeah, and there's no guarantee they're going back to work then.
And then Al Reed was supposed to got me an answer yesterday on what they're gonna let him do on the driver's license down here, because they're gonna line up, that'd be the ones we're gonna have trouble with. All these kids.
Whether they can run a driver's test.
Well, they're not gonna let them do a driver's test, because you have to be in a car with somebody.
Just give them their license.
But down in Georgia, they're giving them to them.
Wisconsin, too.
Yeah.
I do agree with, making that and on the entrance with metal detectors. I mean, with, the family court out there, you generally have more, risk of, some kind of violence due to domestic issues and
Right.
stuff than you do with, traffic cases. And I know you got circuit court that's higher level criminal, but I mean, there's a lot more domestic disputes.
Exactly.
That could result in
But
stuff than
what's
anything.
the
I
matter?
know we've not had anything like that yet, but
We could.
I'll wait until we have something
Right.
before we do something about
But
it.
what's the metal detector looking for? You're allowed to bring a gun in here.
You know, you're not in the courtroom, you're not.
Well, but I mean.
You can't carry a gun in the annex. They will not let you. And when we put it out here, you won't be able to carry one in here either.
Well, I mean, that.
I think the legislature already decided that 2 or 3 years ago, that we don't have the,
You do in courtrooms.
correct. But I mean, as far as the courthouse, I think it was 2 or 4 years ago that they had.
I think there's a statute that allows it, but,
I'm willing to sit down to, what I don't wanna do here
That's a good-
is jump, maybe like we did on the doors for the schools, which was, I think, an admirable thing that we offered, but then we had, maybe we didn't think all the way through this. I'm willing to sit down, and if it takes a month to sit down and sort of think all the way through, if we do this, then.
Well, you're gonna be that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
I didn't realize, I thought you couldn't carry one in here, in a courthouse.
I'm gonna double check that. I think Tony's right.
Yeah, I think there was some of them passed 2 to 4 years ago, and then the
You might
legislature
be right.
had come and said, had nothing on the call, but I do understand the courtrooms. That's-
But you know,
I'm just trying to protect these women that works here, more than the men, because there's women here by
I
themselves.
see you were more interested in the clerks and the TVA. People don't get that fired up.
Right, but your office really gets paid off. Jeff Preston's are awful.
Right.
I mean, I've been scared for Mike's girls when I've heard the screaming and cussing and slamming and all that in front of my office with the door closed in their office. Like, that's,
They're tough old girls now.
oh yeah, absolutely, but you never know what
Yeah.
a crazy person's gonna do.
Right. And a lot of times it's the person yelling is not the one you have to worry about.
Right.
Exactly.
The, back to something you had mentioned earlier, Mike, Heck, since I agree with our press over here, I'll agree with you. I think that there's been some, good work and cooperation.
It's just-
And one of the teams that has, had extra work to do and think about it is our election board, to come up with creative ways to get people to get them to be able to vote without.
They can vote over here at
Is that my copy?
the bank. That's a great idea.
I think Kim and Patty and Matt and Cold Arn, and are they a fifth one? I think.
No, I don't think so, are they?
Yeah, I don't, well, but I know they've,
Our E911 guys have done good.
Yeah, we got the EOC open, and they're really taking care of that, and that keeps a lot of traffic out of here.
It does.
And, you know, and they're up on everything. They working hand in hand with the health department. Chris and them are doing a great job.
Yeah, Chris.
that is impressive, that center, that makeshift EOC that they put together. You could never tell that it was makeshift, and they,
You ever been over, Mike?
I've been to get some masks and things like that. but
It's
I
pretty
did not
cool.
go in because they weren't.
oh, you need,
Yeah, go in now. They got TVs on the walls, and it's pretty cool.
Health department.
I'm surprised they don't have North Korea up there watching that or something. I mean, that's how detailed they are.
That's in the background.
All right, I guess we've rambled on long enough.
I just like getting out talking to people.
I kind of thought the same thing.
Most of the time you tell me to shut up, but finally it feels good.
That sounds pretty good today.
That's what I told him last week when I eye surgery. My blood pressure was real high, and I told my Butch, I said, I'm excited to be out of the house and talking with humans.
Right. All right, I'm down to, I got through my primary election stuff that I wanted to tell you about, which is June 23rd. And so we'll be back in here in the July court meeting, regular court meeting. And, but we'll do the June meeting on Zoom. And I'll have Buford set all that up before time, and we'll all get together prior to that. Anything come from the floor?
I need to give my report.
I was gonna say-
That's right, I'm down to financial right now. Financial report, Ms. Karen. Sorry.
The month of April, we received $381,847, and we spent out $735,755. I need a motion to accept my monthly treasurer settlement and my bank reconciliation.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion, second, any more discussion? All in favor?
And then I also have some transfers, some inter-appropriation transfers, and $100,000 from general to jail, and $75,000 from general to 911.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Did we figure out, franchise tax is still up to me?
We just received this month, $120,000, but it's still down considerably. And it's hard to track it
Oh,
because
no.
the bills go from the state to the clerk's office. The clerk's office prepares them and gives them to the sheriff's department. They mail them out and collect them, and then we get the money. So it's quite a long process to try and figure out.
Yeah.
And the state doesn't always send the same bills at the same time of the year.
And I think sometimes they go even to the wrong jurisdiction and the wrong, they get it coded wrong.
Yeah. Anything else, Sharon? Did we get all your votes?
Yeah, we got the budget and, yeah.
Well, I sure appreciate the extra work you've been helping me on getting some of this stuff done for the court meetings.
No problem.
All right, with that being said, I'd like to adjourn. I just have 3 names today. In the memory of Jack McLeese, Jerry Stambo, and Lois Garthy.
I'll second.
Anybody else that you know of?
I'll second.
Have a motion second, all in favor? Ayes have it. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all very much.
you don't want to get old.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
This is just so.
Well, there's one thing about it, ain't no youngsters around here.
I see you, little Laura Parsons, on my screen. Seeing you on my screen. We're echoing.
Yeah.
I'm down in the corner.
That's me.
Would you suggest me to pay for that? But I mean,
That's quite a bit.
And some of them are, I don't have to know about.
People are young, people.
How fit unemployment and stuff, they think they're fair.
Well, they're having time getting people to work at Walmart.
They're making more money on it. That's exactly what they're making. Yeah. And working in a hospital down there, and she has to work because all these other people just took off. They get 12 hours, not coming in to work.
I know.
Unreal.
We ain't never seen no times like this before.
I will ask you this, if you have a question, we'll raise our hand so we can call on you. And then if you have to speak, if you want to lower your, because it will be muffled, you know, if you feel a little better to where you can talk a little louder so that everybody can even hear you. Jason went over to Paul Smith, didn't he? Is he back? Okay. Where to go here? It's getting close.
Two Tim.
You didn't give us a paper today, did you?
Yes.
She gave us this.
Not on the agenda, okay, not on the agenda. The agenda was what you received from the guys.
Who made build a new water plant?
Never.
Probably not now.
We have all these water pipes, new water pipes, new water plant.
Okay, it's 2 o'clock.
What I got an echo.
1 minute, 1 minute.
Both you did.
The thing I see is Roy. Going in now.
Okay, it's 2 o'clock and we have a quorum present. And I'll ask those members of the council that are here, if they join me as we pledge allegiance and have a prayer.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, just thank you again for this day you've given us, Lord, just those that you brought out this way, and Lord, that just be with us as we're about the people's business, and that we search for your wisdom, your guidance. And Lord, just two people I want to lift up, to be Ed Schaefer and Kevin Dietrich. Lord, just have those on our hearts and in our minds, and Lord, we just pray your hand be upon them. We just ask all these things in your blessed Son, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Hey, Sissy, will you throw me a box of Kleenex? Should be right here, right over the. What is it you need? Box of Kleenex. No breathe on it. Okay, thank you.
I've got that. Oh.
Okay, roll call.
You are hereby notified that there will be a called meeting of the City Council of the City of Russell, Kentucky at 2 p.m. May the 11th, 2020. The meeting will be a live meeting broadcast on Facebook at www.facebook.com/City of Russell KY. With the purpose to discuss and take possible action on the following: 1, call to order; 2, budget; 3, approve water plant bids; 4, set public hearings; 5, sidewalks; 6, adjourn meeting. Kersey?
Yes.
Meadows?
Yes.
Parsons?
Here.
Schaefer? Here. Thompson?
Yes.
Witt?
Here.
Okay, on our next item on the agenda, we'll move up sidewalks before we get into the budget. And
Turn your microphone on. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
okay, I'm going to address sidewalks. These are big. And hopefully Joe Callahan, who's a District 9 engineer, support manager, is online. And also Terry Sickling, Cova, Interstate Planning Commission. She's a senior transportation planner. And Mitch Thomas, and he's the project manager for our sidewalks for ACOM. Darren Eldridge is supposedly online also. I welcome him. And we opened bids on Friday, May the 8th, and we had one bid received for the sidewalk. And it was for the sidewalk project. It was for $974,464.05, and that was through Adams Contracting, and they are out of Lexington. And this is slightly above the monies that we had committed. So we right now we currently don't have enough to do the project. And I would like to ask Joe Callahan, if he's out there, if we can get him at least to give us a breakdown here, or an explanation on this City of Sidewalk project, on the existing projects amounts that we got earlier today.
Okay, can you hear me okay, Mayor?
974.
9464. 974-464.
Run that one more time for
Mayor, he asked you, he came back to you.
Yeah, can you hear me okay, Mayor? This is Joe Callahan.
No, he can't. Just a second.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Okay, I'll go ahead and talk. Like the mayor said, I'm Joe Callahan with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, and I've been serving as the cabinet's representative for this project. This is a local public agency project that received funding from the Cuyahoga Interstate Planning Commission, and these funds are 80% federal and 20% local match. And the sidewalk goes along, I'm sure you're familiar with it, it goes along Gesling Avenue. I guess it begins at Gesling and Seaton, and goes all the way to the intersection of Kenwood. And what's the ending street, Mitch?
Cardinal.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, this is Mitch. How y'all doing? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, it starts on Kentwood running south to north the way KYTC likes to do it. So it's basically on, starts at Cardinal, or I'm sorry, on Kentwood and runs all the way up through Gesling, where Gesling intersects with Seat and Cardinal,
Yes.
which is Kentucky 750.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mitch.
Mm-hmm.
The initial estimated cost of the project was $770,000, and that includes $85,000 for design, and the city chose to utilize our KYTC statewide consultant list, and AECom was awarded that project, and the right-of-way cost for the land that was had to be acquired, which was performed by Kentucky Transportation Cabinet staff out of Flemingsburg, that was $30,000. And the total construction budget is $655,000. Once again, so that's $85,000 plus $30,000 plus $655 comes to $770,000. So we had let this project, or the city had advertised the project, I'm sorry, multiple times. Either the bids would come in too high, well over the engineer's estimate, or we didn't get any bids at all in some cases. So we finally did get we got another bid, and it again is quite a bit over the engineer's estimate. And where we had $655,000 set up, the bid did come in at $974,000. So I guess we let this project as a base bid plus 2 alternates. So that allows us to go with what we thought was the most bang for the money as the base bid. Then we had 2 alternates that extended that length, so we could maybe take the money as far as we could go. And it turns out that we'd only have enough for the base bid and the first alternate. And the second alternate B, was the length of sidewalk along Gesling, and we do not have enough money to do that. So our options are, we can re-advertise this and see what happens again, but we're at the point now in the calendar year where we really need to get going with this if we expect this project, we want this project to be completed this year. Or Terry Sicking of Kiowa, she has some more money in the pot, and if the city would want to go that route, they could request more money from Kiowa, and it sounds like there's a very good chance that they would be approved for that additional amount of $319,000. But that would mean that the city would have to come up with 20% of that, or right close to $64,000 for their 20%. So I don't know. I sent Joey a table. I don't know, Joey, do the council members have that table?
They all have the table. And
okay.
May I say something real quick?
Yes.
Okay. We have the project on Gesling Road, and it's going to be over we're feeding back road. It's going to be over $400,000 to be able to complete it. Eventually, and I think Mike Lax can correct me on this, we're going to eventually have to move the water lines anyway. So instead of paying $400,000 out, we're going to be able to pay out $217,893 to get this done. We'll have the whole sidewalk project completed along with our water lines being moved. I would recommend that you go ahead and do this instead of us bidding out again, because we've had higher bids than what this is right now.
That includes gas lines?
This, if we raise it up to our part being $217,893, we'll complete the project.
That's
That's actually saving $207,000.
If we would have to do it ourselves.
If we have to do it this way, when they have it dug up, we'll replace it all at the same time.
Correct.
And save $200,000.
If you look on these sheets here, our 20% shows $217,893.
So, hey, Joy, this,
Go
ahead.
Total.
okay, hey, Joy, this is Terry. You already had committed a portion of that 217. So the additional funds, you would only have to come up with the 20% of the 255.
I think they.
Okay, so so it'd be like $60,000. So it's not that won't be showing you all as $200,000 that you all owe. That's the total extra for project.
They understand that.
Okay.
I see the 217, but I don't see the number you quoted.
I quoted the 217,893 is what we're